Nick, we just witnessed LAFC almost, well, they didn't almost beat Chelsea, but they gave them a hell of a performance or a hell of a match. They lost 2-0, and some people might say that Chelsea didn't play as well as they could have, or, that they weren't themselves and they played too many matches. But either way, my takeaway from this game is that they were very, very impressive. But let's talk about the first half. What is your thoughts about how LAFC came out in this game and started this game in the first half?
I think the first half LAFC looked really good. To be honest, I think they looked good the whole entire game. 65% possession for Chelsea, 35% for LAFC. I don't think anyone is surprised by that. You expected that Chelsea was going to have the majority of the ball. I would say this first half, I was surprised that it was lopsided like that because it felt like LAFC had more possession than they actually did.
Hey, if you're enjoying the video, make sure you give it a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of my videos. Now, back to the video.
Really pushing forward, trying not to let Chelsea get too deep in their box and stuff like that. And I was really impressed with it. Once Ordaz went out, Martinez went in. I'm not saying that you've seen a drop by any means, but things sort of shifted a little bit. Then Martinez got a silly yellow. When Giroud came in, that's when we actually started seeing shots on the goal, because at the end of the first half, it was only one shot, not even on target, just one shot at goal. And for, after Giroud came in, what was it? You end up having a total of 7 shots on target, or 7 shots, 5 on target. And so, or 4 on target, 2 off target. And so I think that was a big deal for LAFC, the difference for them. But they weren't able to get it done, but they didn't let Chelsea run it up 5-6-0 on them either. So I think defensively it looked good for LAFC.
Well, back to the first half, the first 30 minutes, I think it was more evenly matched. The first half looked really good. It was 0-0 to the 30th minute. And then Ryan Hollingshead got caught ball watching. Neto was able to slip past him and get the first goal of the game. Before then, I thought it was a really evenly matched game. Now, the only thing that LAFC could have done better in the first half was they gave the ball away too many times. You had mentioned during the stream that they had like 5 giveaways in like 7 minutes. I think it was the stretch between like the 14th minute and the 20th minute. They had like 5 giveaways, just stupid errors that they were making. And one thing we need to talk about too was Jeremy Ebobisse was absolutely abysmal in this game. Had no business starting in the first half. Didn't do anything in the attack. Didn't create any chances. Wasn't making good runs and was sloppy with the ball. He was probably my biggest disappointment, not just the game, first half, but in the game too. He had no business being in this match. He was by far the biggest weakling of the first half for LAFC.
I mean, absolutely. You said it from the beginning. You're not a huge Ebobisse fan anyway, and I understand that. But he should not have had a start. If anything, come off the bench. I don't even know if I really want that per se, but I would have much rather it been a Giroud getting that start right there in that position. I mean, I know a lot of people are down on Giroud, but the reality of it is the last 3 games he's played really well. He even if it isn't by scoring, he's doing something, an assist or just making dummy runs, whatever it is that will pull that person off to open the next player up. And again, we go from 1 goal on 1 shot, not even on target, to having 4 shots on target once he comes in. And you've seen it. Like it literally, I'll still say this. I believe that LAFC could have a 2-1 right now if David Martinez would have put his head up for that one that literally there was a Bouanga, Giroud, both open right there. If he lifts his head up and looks and makes that pass, that's a goal. And so we're sitting here talking about a 2-1. Not the case, 2-0. And still, I think any LAFC fan is going to walk away feeling good about that because – I said it through your whole entire stream, just to reiterate and remind people, and we both did, the deficit difference it is for our lineups and the price tag that we have on these teams. And LAFC walking away with a 2-0, any LAFC fan will take that and say we played and kept them at only scoring 2 goals. LAFC looked good. Their defense was pretty strong. The ball watching from Hollingshead on that first goal, not so strong. The giveaway that we seen from Abobasi and Palencia is something that you don't want to see. But for the most part, held strong not to let them get over 2 goals.
Yeah, that's the thing that needs to be brought up too, is that Chelsea's transfer market value is €1 billion and LAFC is 45 million euros. So there's a huge 950 million euro difference between both clubs. And moving to the second half, which the first half minus that goal scored, like you said, they looked a lot better. They had more shots on goal. They had 6 or 7, like you said, shots on goal, or 6 or 7 shots in the second half, only 1 in the first half. Things looked a little bit better when Giroud came in. David Martinez got more established in the second half when he came on for Nathan Ordaz. And they had so many chances they should have just put away, man. Denny Bong had a golden opportunity too. I think that they really are lacking something in the final third. And Giroud obviously hasn't been as good as what many thought he would be for LAFC. Now, it could be the system, it could be a multitude of things, guys around him, but he just hasn't been as good as what he was expected to be. And I think that one of the problems with LAFC in this match was they were trying to find him instead of letting him find them. And I think that's better when Giroud can kind of float around and he can find the game himself instead of forcing him the ball. Anytime LAFC have ever tried to force him the ball, it never works out. Never works out. So that's one thing I would have changed. Who would you say is a player that really impressed you in this game? I'd have to say like Aaron Long balled out. Aaron Long had a very, very good game against Chelsea, considering who he's going up against. These aren't guys that typical MLS defenders are playing on a week-to-week basis.
No, I mean, I look. I know I just sit here and said that about Hollingshead ball watching, but at the end of the day, you got to give it up to the defense. You got to. Aaron Long was an absolute beast out there today. To be fair, it could have actually even been 3-0 if it wasn't from Aaron Long. Nice save towards the end of the match right there. I think we were at the 76th, 78th minute or something. Had a very good chance for a stupid play that got overlooked, and Aaron Long stepped up and made sure to block that ball. And then that's the type of plays that you need to keep these type of games close, you know. And so, you know, I think the back line has to get the nod for that right there for sure.
Yeah, and so I think that this is the best performance by an MLS team in this tournament so far. I think it is. I think this is the best performance. Inter Miami played Al Ahly at home, essentially Hard Rock Stadium. The Seattle Sounders played Botafogo at home. LAFC had to travel from the West Coast to the East Coast, almost 3,000 miles, and play Chelsea in a stadium that's not their home. Only a handful of fans showed up, maybe more Chelsea fans there than LAFC fans, not many fans in general. But when you take into account the team they're playing, the travel they had to do, and it being a 2-0 scoreline, I think they had the best performance of the 3 MLS teams so far. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think the LAFC has had the best MLS performance in the Club World Cup, or do you think it's another team? What do you think about that?
I mean, look, I'm biased. Of course, I'm going to think it's LAFC because I think out of the first round, they had the hardest team to play against. But you know, again, I said this during our live watch. I think that all the MLS teams actually had a great showing in this first round. I think they did well. And it shows that if they were to lift the spending and let us spend more, MLS is really going to be a league, a top league that people will want to come to. Once the money gets here, people are going to want to play here. And that's just the reality of the situation. We just need to up it some. I mean, $1 billion club playing a $50 million club and it's 2-0. That's it. That's impressive. and at the end of the day, they only had six of their starters. They brought some guys in for the second half. And I think you even mentioned at one point they brought in a guy that literally was more money than the whole entire squad for LAFC. So, like that's what you're playing, and so that's impressive.
They have several of those guys. They got several guys who are probably worth more than the entirety of LAFC's team. Now, Nick, their next opponent is Flamengo. I think heading after what we saw today, you have to be confident heading into that match. Now, this is a must win for LAFC. If they want to make it out of the group stage, they have got to win this game. They got to win their next two games if they want to make it out of the Club World Cup group stage. How are you feeling heading into this game, considering what you saw today?
Feeling good. Feeling good. Obviously, you want to see how those teams are looking coming up. You're going to be watching today, seeing how they do. Look, man, I feel confident for LAFC. I really do. I think they're, at the beginning of the year, if you would have asked me, I would not be as confident as I am. LAFC got on this nice little run lately, and are playing pretty solid soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. And I think that if there's a chance for LAFC to do it, the next two games, they can find a way to win one of them. I truly believe that. And I think that's what it's going to take to get out of this group, and we can do it. We can be one of the MLS teams to get out of their grouping, and I really think that they can. And when it comes to the Flamingo game, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be chippy. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a similar feel to playing Liga Meki team. Sort of like the League's Cup feel. It's going to be exciting, and I expect it, as I just said, to be very chippy. And those types of games, I feel like LAFC shows up for. Those are the games I actually like to see LAFC play. We didn't see much of that today, only after the halftime whistle blew, which I would have liked to see a little bit more on the pitch. But I'm not complaining. It was all hard out there today. But I want to have a little bit of the dogness. I want to see a little bit of, a little extra shoulder in there to somebody, and trying to get them off their game a little bit more.
So we'll have a big game this week against Flamengo. That'll be the second match of the group stage with LAFC. Guys, I think this was an impressive match. Yes, they lost, but keep in mind of what they were doing, the context, where they had to play, who they had to play. Very, very important performance, big in performance, not just for LAFC, but for Major League Soccer. Nick, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Live stream, and we had our post game recap wrapped up. Also, make sure you check out me on Nick's podcast tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time live on the Voices of Black and Gold. We're going to do a full deep dive into the game. Nick, any final thoughts before we go?
No, man, I appreciate you having me. I just want to make sure that your subscribers, make sure that they are subscribed if they haven't. If this is your first time watching Will, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give him a thumbs up. The guy does great MLS content for covering the league as he's covering this tournament right here. Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on, Will.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning into the live stream and watching this post game recap. Until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.